Today for pitching, we're going to talk about two different things. We're going to talk about pitch tunneling as well as the vertical and horizontal access of the strike zone. So pitch tunneling is something that we use to start developing more pitches as we continue to develop and go through the ranks of youth baseball, high school, college, so on and so forth. Okay, pitch tunneling is talking about where that pitch is coming out of our hand. We're going to just use your typical over-the-top pitcher for our pitch tunneling. Pitch tunneling is where I'm at with release. We see it on Sports Center, MLB Network. They'll show this little clip where they'll show a bunch of different colors, whether it's green, yellow, blue, red, and they'll show the overlay of once that pitch is released. This is getting the hitter to have to focus on one point and not know what pitch is going to be coming. Again, making it much more challenging. So if I'm throwing a fastball and I'm throwing a fastball right here at my release, that is going to be the exact same release as close as possible, whether it's changeup for sure, a slider, a knuckle curve, whatever the case may be. We don't want to be dabbling of a fastball here and then I go down here to throw a frisbee changeup, they call, because it's telling the hitters what's going to be coming, especially as they start getting older. I do understand at the younger ages, it's really not going to be too challenging. You'll be able to get hitters out, but as you get older, good hitters, the competition gets tougher. It's going to be much more challenging to be just throwing different pitches from different angles. I get they talk about, Brunson Arroyo, the gentleman from Coastal Carolina the year they won the College World Series. You can throw a frisbee changeup from this position, okay? Understand that these gentlemen that threw these pitches, they would throw fastball, curveball, slider, change from a traditional arm release point, but then they would also throw a fastball, a change, a slider from a lower arm slot. So it's not like they would just be fastball up here, slider here, okay, curveball, change. No, they would still use their entire repertoire of whether the release point is here or up here, whatever the case may be, okay, especially in the major leagues. I would say they're the most elite athletes for sure. So pitch tunneling, this is how we talk about developing pitches. Obviously, like I said, traditional is over top. I want pitches that are going to work off of my fastball release point, okay? And it could be maybe I'm more of a 3/4 guy right here. Again, same thing. We're just going to develop pitches that all come out of that same release point. Again, that makes it much more challenging for a hitter. And then that ties into what will lead into the next part of vertical, horizontal, quadrant pitching, all right? As a hitter, we don't want to throw everything that ends up in the same quadrant or the same location. No, we want to be able to use the entire matrix of the strike zone to then develop our pitches to make it much more challenging for the hitters. So for example, if I'm a fastball up here type guy, traditional, and I'm working it down, that's more of a vertical release, okay? So that's going to be working up and down in that strike zone. I get obviously different quadrants for sure, but if it's here, here, or here in the quadrants, it's still vertical. Off of that, I may want to work knuckle curves, okay? Because knuckle curve is going to be a slower pitch, but it's going to have a typical bigger break to the pitch. Someone kind of like a Clayton Kershaw type curveball where it's very large, big, okay? It's coming out in the same release point as my fastball. It's just coming out, which is going to go higher. Obviously, the speed differential to the hitter is completely different, all right? But it's also changing eyesight, where their eyes are now going up to track the ball and back down, making it much more challenging. Give you another example would be, if I throw my slider, depending on your slider you throw, whether it's a, more of a slurve slider, a sharp slider, whatever the case may be, it's going to be right out of my fastball position grip, and it's going to look like a fastball, and the last second it's going to drop in, it's going to drop both vertical and horizontal across the strike zone. And then obviously my changeup, again, just like my fastball, speed differential is key to this, and it's going to fade. Whether I'm throwing a circle change, it's going to fade away. If I'm throwing a straight change, it's going to go straight down. Okay, one of the real popular ones now is a frisbee changeup, where you get on the sideboard and get much more run, like this. Obviously, I'm demonstrating it as a lefty, but for a righty, same concept. Going here. Okay, so pitch tunneling is crucial to our pitch development. It's not something that you just start developing pitches and picking them out of nowhere. They have to have a purpose, and they all have to make a correlation towards your fastball. Okay, so that is pitch tunneling.